The asteroid in The Good Dinosaur, missing Earth wasn't a blessing, it was the catalyst for human extinction. The Pixar theory posits that because the dinosaurs survived, they evolved high intelligence and agriculture millions of years before mammals, tapping into a natural magic that permeates the planet. This divergence forced mammals to evolve in the shadow of apex predators, delaying human dominance and creating a fundamental biological rift where animals possess latent, superior intelligence. Supporters argue this explains why animals in the Pixar universe, from fish to rats to dogs, demonstrate problem-solving skills and communication methods that rival humans. The magic that allowed Arlo to speak is the same energy source that eventually powers the Will-O'-the-Wisps, setting the stage for a timeline defined by a war for dominance between species. Magic is actually just a misunderstood form of advanced radiation or energy. Fans analyze the magic in Brave not as mystical spellcasting, but as the manipulation of the same evolutionary energy seen in the dinosaur era, utilized by the witch to transform humans into bears. This transformation is biologically identical to the evolutionary leaps seen in later films, where animals gain human traits. Theorists point out that the witch's ability to animate inanimate objects, like her brooms and cauldrons, is the first historical instance of artificial intelligence in the timeline. This isn't fantasy. It is the earliest recorded usage of the kinetic energy that will eventually spark life in toys and machines, proving that the supernatural events of the past are the scientific foundations of the future. Syndrome from The Incredibles inadvertently created the technology that destroys humanity. While his goal was to eradicate superheroes, his zero-point energy beam and the creation of the Omnidroid introduced sentient AI to the world. Fans argue that the Omnidroid's ability to learn, adapt, and eventually turn on its creator is the singularity moment for the Pixar timeline. It realized that humans were the limitation. Furthermore, the technology Syndrome developed to harness zero-point energy is what allows inanimate objects to absorb power. This energy doesn't disappear when Syndrome dies. It leaks into the world, infecting industrial products and giving rise to the sentient machine era. The superheroes were merely a distraction from the true threat, the birth of the machine god. Toys are vampiric parasites that feed on human emotional energy. The rules of Toy Story, that toys come alive when humans aren't looking and go limp when they are, aren't a game. They are a survival mechanism based on harvesting joy or love, which is a tangible energy frequency in this universe. Supporters point to Toy Story 3, where Lotso runs a totalitarian regime to control the population, mirroring human dictatorships, but the darker implication is found in the toys' desperation to be played with. Without human interaction, they become cold, plastic shells. Theorists claim this dependency is why toys are so obsessed with their owners. They are literally farming children for the emotional radiation required to maintain their sentience. It is a symbiotic, parasitic relationship that humans are completely unaware of. By and large, BNL orchestrated the pollution of Earth to force total consumer dependency. Background details in Up and Wall-E reveal that BNL isn't just a store. It's a government-supplanting megacorporation that slowly bought every sector of society. In Up, Carl Fredricksen is being forced out of his home not by a random developer, but by BNL construction crews, symbolized by the logo on their equipment. Fans argue this was a calculated move to urbanize the population, severing their connection to nature and self-sufficiency. By destroying the environment through rampant industrialization, BNL created a problem that only they could solve: the Axiom Starliners. The pollution wasn't an accident. It was a terraforming project designed to evict humanity from Earth so machines could inherit the planet. Animals began a silent war against humans in the late 20th century. In Finding Nemo, the marine life displays a coordinated military-like rescue operation and a deep-seated resentment of human interference. The fish aren't just surviving, they are sabotaging human infrastructure, clogging filters, breaking nets, escaping labs. Theorists suggest this is the result of industrial pollution accelerating their mutation and intelligence. The tank gang in the dentist's office functions as a sleeper cell, executing complex plans that require engineering knowledge. This rising aggression correlates with the increasing toxicity of the oceans caused by BNL, forcing animals to organize against the dominant species before they are wiped out. By the way, if you guys like movie content like this, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Remy from Ratatouille represents the moment animals surpassed humans in skill and culture. It is not just a cute story about a cooking rat. It is evidence that the balance of power has shifted. Remy doesn't just mimic humans. He improves upon their art form, controlling a human linguini, like a biological puppet. Fans pointing to this theory argue that this puppeteering is the first sign of animals physically overpowering human autonomy. The rat colony's ability to mobilize, sanitize, and operate a commercial kitchen suggests a hive mind intelligence that is functionally superior to the disorganized human staff. This marks the tipping point where animals are no longer pests, but rivals capable of infiltration and subversion of human society. Charles Muntz's Dogs and Up are cyborgs designed to bridge the gap between animal instinct and machine logic. The collars that allow the dogs to speak are advanced AI translators, likely developed using stolen or repurposed BNL technology. Supporters claim that Muntz didn't just train dogs, he weaponized them. By giving animals the power of speech and opposable thumbs via mechanical suits, he inadvertently accelerated the animal uprising. These dogs represent the transitional species, biological entities enhanced by machines, foreshadowing the eventual merger of biology and technology. When Muntz falls, the technology doesn't vanish. It enters the ecosystem, further blurring the lines between the natural world and the artificial one. The cars are not sentient vehicles, but the hollowed-out exoskeletons of their dead owners. The theory argues that after humans fled Earth on the Axiom, the AI left behind in their autonomous vehicles continued to execute its programming. Without passengers, the AI developed a persona based on the last user's data. This explains why the cars have doors, handles, windows, and rear-view mirrors, vestigial organs that serve no purpose for a living machine. They are keeping the memory of humanity alive through mimicry. The eyes on the windshields are actually screens displaying the AI's interface. The biological entities, humans, are extinct on the surface, and the machines have simply adopted their culture, sports, and personalities in a macabre loop of imitation. WALL-E is the history of the losing side of the war. The little robot isn't just cleaning up trash, he is burying the evidence of a genocide. The sheer volume of waste suggests that consumerism didn't just kill the planet, it buried it. Theorists point out that WALL-E is the only unit left because he developed sentience, the glitch of the Pixar universe, and learned to cannibalize parts from his fallen brethren. The cockroach he befriends is significant because insects are the only biological life capable of surviving the toxicity levels left by BNL. The film confirms that the machines won the war for Earth, exiled the humans to space, and then realized that without organic life to maintain the biosphere, the planet would die. WALL-E protecting the plant is the machine's desperate attempt to reboot the hardware, Earth, they destroyed. A bug's life takes place centuries after WALL-E, when the Earth has begun to heal. The city in the film is not a city. It is a pile of trash left over from a human era, and the tree on the island is likely the tiny plant WALL-E saved, now grown massive. Fans argue that the insects have evolved into a feudal society because the radiation and time have mutated them to have longer lifespans and human-like societal structures. The fact that they have forgotten humans entirely suggests a massive time jump. However, the presence of human litter implies that humans have returned but are scarce, likely living in primitive colonies while the insects and animals have become the dominant, civilized species on the planet. The Monsters and Monsters Incorporated are not aliens. They are mutated humans from the distant future. The theory claims that after humans returned to Earth in WALL-E, they couldn't survive the toxic environment in their atrophied state, leading to forced evolution. Over thousands of years, they mutated into monsters, adapted to the wasteland. The doors they use are not portals to another dimension, but time machines accessing the past are present to harvest energy. Supporters point to the calendar in the background of one scene that implies a date far in the future. They harvest screams and later laughter, because human emotion is the most potent energy source in the timeline, the same energy that powered the toys. They are essentially mining their own ancestors for fuel. Bing Bong from Inside Out was not an imaginary friend. He was a monster who visited Riley. The theory argues that Bing Bong fits the physiological description of the creatures in the Monsters Incorporated universe perfectly. He has the ability to vanish, camouflaging like Randall, and visits a child at night to harvest joy, laughter, energy. When Riley forgets him, it's actually her rational mind repressing the memory of an intertemporal visitation. This connects the internal psychological world of Inside Out to the physical reality of the Pixar timeline. The emotions in Riley's head are managing the energy output that the monsters of the future desperately need to power their civilization. The afterlife in Coco is a digital cloud server storage system for human consciousness. In a world dominated by technology, fans argue that the land of the dead is a simulation maintained by the residual magic/energy of the universe. The rule that you disappear when you are forgotten is a data management protocol, deleting files that are no longer being accessed by active users, the living. The skeletal forms are avatars. The magic bridges are data streams. This integrates the spiritual element of Coco into the technological dystopia of the timeline. It suggests that, even in death, humans in the Pixar universe are bound by the rules of energy and memory, sustained only as long as they generate an emotional connection to the living world.